Well, hello everybody. Today we're going to do a square elbow with a square throat and a square heel. We're going to make it out of construction paper because it's easier if you want to practice layout to do it on construction paper. This way you're not wasting metal. So to do a 3x3 right angle elbow, I'm going to start off straight line, and I'm going to start off with a perpendicular line also. Perpendicular, which you know it means 90 degrees. All right, so here first I'm going to put 1/4 inch our flange, and then we're going to go 1, 2, 3 inches, and then we're going to go another 1/4 inch for our throat flange. Okay, so on here I'm going to draw this line straight up. This is going to be a 2-inch throat, so I'm going to go mark it 2 inches. And I'm going to come across, and make sure I put in another 2 inches. Best thing about doing it on paper is you can erase. On metal you wouldn't be able to. So you want to be as accurate as possible, even when you're drawing it from home. So I'm going to put a straight line here. Okay, we know that this is going to be another 3 inches. So, there we go. And that goes straight to the other side. And I'm going to add our 1/4 inch for our flange. Now, it doesn't matter what number you put it on, because an inch is an inch. And 1/4 inch. Make sure your T-square is always square. Okay, up against the board. Always use our triangles because they do make perfect perpendicular lines. So when we're done with that, we can just erase any overage that we have. Now I'm going to go up with my 1/4 inch here. And I'm going to come down 1/4. And I'm going to go over 1/4 inch. And finish connecting it here. Okay, so now I'm going to add my 1 inch. I'm going to draw a line first. Whatever's left over I can always erase. So there's 1 inch right there. I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to bring that out. Now with my triangle, make a nice perpendicular line all the way up top. So we're going to do the same thing on the bottom. We're going to draw an inch. There. Bring that down from here, come down on this side, and we just erase any leftover lines, make it nice and neat. Okay, we are going to need to put a little line here because we're going to be cutting this when we put it together. Over here, if you want, you can just do a 45-degree cut. You got your T-square up against it, nice and square, and we're just going to chop that off. Okay, Now let me leave my 1/2 inch. I'm going to put in for a 1/2 inch for when it is connected. So we're going to draw this exactly as we would in the shop or on the job site. So the 1/2 inch is for the S-slips. So now we're going to go and give this a go with a 30 degree. So all we're going to do is go in basically a quarter. You can eyeball it like that. We're going to go in. This one, same thing. We're going to do the same thing on the bottom. I'll go up a 1/2 inch. Okay, and just we're going to notch this out here, which will eventually be bent for the S-slips when we put them in. So we're just going to take that and just give it about 3/8 of an inch in if you want. So we're going to erase that. This would be notched out. Okay, and here we got a 90 degree elbow. This is called a cheek. Okay, so this is going to be number 1. So we do have to draw another one because we need 2. For our piece, we have 2 cheeks, a throat and an elbow. So what I'm going to do here is make a little bit of room, not make it too close enough for that one. And basically I'm going to draw but in the opposite direction. So we're going to go here. That should be 3 inches. Almost. Let me just finish doing it with my ruler. Actually, we're gonna go 3 1/4 because I'm gonna add my 1/4 inch there. Okay, so now we're gonna put our 1/4 inch on this side. And go straight up with it. Okay, so we need our inch on the bottom. I'm just going to mark it. I'm not going to draw it yet. This way I know where it is. So we should have 1/4 inch, and we should have a 3 inch opening. Now I'm going to add another 1/4 inch for the flange on the throat for when we put it together. So again, it's going to be 2 inches. 2 inches there. Inches there, which is good. So we're going to bring this up. This is a 1/4 inch. We're going to bring this down, 1/4 inch down. My T-square. Go right there. Make sure I connect this. Like that. So I'm going to come down here now and use this for the inch. Okay, so I already marked it on that end, so all we have to do is bring the line over so we can erase that. Okay, so now I'm going to come here. I'm just going to use the same line as I did from the last one because it's on the same page. So I'll make sure that it's on the same. Of course, your will be off. Okay, so make sure we have 2 inches there, which is good. Now we're going to come up. That should be 3 inches. 1, 2, 3, yep. So now we're just going to add a 1/4 inch. Now you can see it doesn't matter which number I put it on because the inch is always an inch. Yeah. And I'm going to come down here, put in the corner, all the way to that end. Make my triangle. And there we go. And we're going to bring this across. Just like that. So now we're going to give that a 45-degree chop like we have over here. And that would go just like that. And we would notch that out. This way it's a lot easier to put together when you're actually doing it out of metal. That's where the Pittsburgh would go. So here I'm going to bring this one down. Just like that. And I'm just going to erase this little corner here. Same thing as notching it out. And again, I just want to make sure that it is 3 inches, and it is. Okay, so now over here we're going to come out 1 inch. So it's good to have a sharp pencil with you at all times. It's like a scribe or a scratch roll has to be sharp. Okay, so I'm just going to erase a couple of lines here. This way it looks make it look nice and neat. So let's just got one more line here. Again, always make sure that you are accurate. Of course, we're going to need a little there. That's where we're going to cut it. So now I'm just going to put the 1/2 inch in for our slips when we bend them. And again, you're only going to go in about 3/8 of an inch or so. And we're just going to notch it like that. Now down here, I'm going to do the same thing. And then 1/2 inch. So instead of drawing it, I'm just going to mark it that way. And again, order it 3/8 of an inch. And about 3/8 of an inch. So now we're going to notch that off, or erase it. If it was metal, we'll be notching it. And there are our 2 cheeks. All right, so now we have to make the heel and the throat. Now, in order to do that, we just take some measurements. Okay, so if I want to do the heel, which I'm going to do up here, I'm just going to measure. So it's going to be, turn it this way so I can read it. And there's going to be 1 inch, and it is 6 1/4. So 6 1/4 this way, 6 1/4 that way, so that'd be 12 1/2. Okay, so we're going to come over here, and we're going to draw a line. I want to make sure I leave myself at least 1 inch. Okay, so we said that this was going to be 6 1/4. Okay, So we're going to come here and we're going to measure 6 1/4. I'm going to put in an inch. Oh, the inch is already in there, so 6 1/4. There we go. So I will put in for the inch. So we got an inch. And 6 1/4. Now I want to do a straight line going up. Let's see how much that leaves us with. So we got 1, 2, 3. And we're going to mark it right there. And there we go. It'll come out, come across. So 6 1/4, 6 1/4 be 12 1/2. Now this, you can tell, only goes up to 12. So we're going to come here and go to 12. And we're going to extend that line just a little bit more. So we have 10. So there's our 12 here, because we said we needed 12 1/2. So we're going to go from the 0 mark to 1/2 inch. So that should leave us 12, and we gotta go 1/2 inch, which I just did. Okay, so now I'm gonna take our triangle, make a perpendicular line up, just like that. We're gonna go over our inch, and again we're gonna go up with that perpendicular. Come here, take our line and extend it right through. So here we're going to bring up the 30-inch parallel line. You don't want to go across because you want to make sure that they connect. Okay. So now if we want to find the center of this, so we know with our measuring, we're from here to the top. From here all the way to the top is 6 inches. Okay. Actually, not from the inch. We're going to go from there to there, which gives us 5 inches. So we're going to come here and we're going to go 5 inches. Okay, that is the middle point. That is this point right here. So let's see what we have here. So we have our inch all up there. So I'm gonna fix that. It's a great thing about doing it on paper. You can't erase. So I'm gonna go over an inch. Across. Inch. Go straight up. Come over here. I'm going to bring this one over. Now this is typical parallel line development. Okay, so we have our inch here, which is the inch here, and we're going to go up 5 inches. So from that inch, we're going to go 5 inches. And then from there to that end is 6. So from that end is 6. So I'm going to mark the 6. There we go. So basically we have our 1/2 inch here and a 1/2 inch there. We can erase that line. And we're going to go over 1 inch from the end, or a 1/2 inch from the other line. But it doesn't matter. And we're going to go straight up. And since that is our, we're going to go about 3/8 in. Same thing on this side. I'm going to put a 1/2 inch in here. So I can bring up my point. And we're going to just go in about 3/8 of an inch. So when we make our slips, it will fit nicely. Okay. So let me just finish notching that out, which just means we got to erase. I did not put on the Pittsburgh because we don't need the Pittsburgh. When we cut it out, we will be doing it without a Pittsburgh, and we'll be taping it together. So again, we have a total distance from here to the top of 6 inches. So from here to there is 6 inches. And the same thing from on this side, left to right, is 6. We're going to check, and it is 6. Okay, so this is our heel. So just one required. This is cheek 2. Now, all we have left is our throat. So let's measure our throat. It is 3 inches, so I have to be 6 inches. So I'm going to just draw here my 3 inch. Almost. Yeah, that's 3 inches. Now again, I'm not going to put in the Pittsburgh. So I'm going to take this and go straight up. And straight up. Okay, we need our inch on the bottom. Like that. Now I like to bring the line down so I can see it better. Same thing on this side. I can tell my pencil's starting to get a little dull, as I always like a nice sharp pencil. So we knew that from there to there is 3 inches, and from there it'd be 6. So set our ruler. 0, and we're going to put it on, we're going to mark 6 right there. From there, I'm just going to go across, and now I'm just going to connect my lines. So we have a total of 6 inches. So I need to come down 1 inch. And we're going to come here, all the way across. Again, just going to go 1/2 inch. My square, this way I can just mark it there and mark it there. Same thing on the bottom. I'm gonna go mark it at 1/2 inch. Use my T-square just so I can mark it. And again, you're only going to go about 3/8 in. that. So we would notch that off, and we would notch that. Same thing down here. Okay, so now we have to find the center point because we went up and it's going to bend. So if this was 2 inches, this should be 4, which it is. So we're just going to go 2 inches. And go across. So that is our bending point for a 90-degree bend. The same thing we did on the heel. So this is the throat. Okay. So now what we have to do is we're going to start cutting it out. So now that we're done laying it out, we can move our drafting tools away. Okay, and I'm going to lift this up because it's taped down. I'm going to remove the tape. And on this side, let's remove the tape. So now I'm going to take a pair of scissors and we're going to cut out each piece. So I'm just going to cut here. Make it easier. So we're going to cut right on the line. Cutting with snips, you'll be doing the same thing, except that there is no Pittsburgh lock. Try to take your time when you're cutting these, because you really do want to make it straight and accurate. Across. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. And our little notches. Okay, and there is our throat. I'll show you how to bend it in a little bit after I finish cutting all these pieces out. I'm just going to take this and just straight cut. Cut off any big excess that we don't need. Right here, I'm just going to go right on the line. And come here and I'll just do the notch. And go straight across. Same thing on this side. Don't be afraid to cut it across. As long as you don't cross your lines, you'll be okay. So let me show you. There you go. Yeah. And I'm under this corner. So, and we're going to come across like this. Okay, now all we have to do is cut our long lines. Good practice to do at home, especially now, all this COVID going around. We're at home, we're stuck at home, so people can actually practice at home. So this is what I have my students do. They could watch it and they can also practice it. All you really need is a piece of paper, pencil, a couple of rulers. I mean, if you have a drafting board, that makes it easier. But it can still be done as long as you take your time. Okay, so now we have our throat and we have our heel. So now we're going to cut out the cheeks. what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna come down here. I'm gonna go right up this line. And I'm gonna cut this one off. When we get to the end, it really doesn't matter. You can just cut it off. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing for this end. Just take your time cutting. If you get there, you can always just go like that. On the other side line here. A 1/4 inch flange. This would slip right into the Pittsburgh if we were making it out of sheet metal. But I leave it on, this way it's easier to tape when we're putting it together. So I'm going to come up here into the throat. Not a little too far. You want to make sure where you're cutting. You don't want to cut the line. There we go. Now we're going to do our notches. So we're going to come up here, cut there, cut there. Same thing with this. You actually go straight through if you want. There. Okay, so we have the bottom all done. Now I'm just going to go on the top. If you have graph paper, you can do the same thing with the graph paper. A little easier to measure with graph paper because each little block is a 1/4 inch. So you could use that. So we're going to just notch there and notch there. Same thing here. Notch. Like I said, I don't want to cross the lines. Okay. And now we're going to make our little cut here on the 45 degree. And I'm going to cut this little piece off here. This way it'll be easier. And there is our first cheek cut out. Now we're going to do the same thing for the second one. Again, we're going to cut. And this. You have to take your time. I'm just trying to go a little quicker because of the time constraint on these videos. So that gets cut off. Here. So again, we're going to cut off our 3/8 notch. There we go. And just a little 1/4 inch there. Same thing here. And I'm going to come across here. I'm going to come up. Everybody can see this clearly. Otherwise, I do have a light on, but just in case. If anybody has any questions about the videos that I'm doing, once it's on YouTube, please comment. If you need a comment, always looking for good ideas, or maybe a different way of doing it. There's always more than one way to do something. So there, across, and now we're going to do our 45. Okay, and there is our second piece. Okay, so now we're just going to clean up a little bit, get all this pieces that have been cut. I'm just going to push them over to the side. Okay, so to bend these, I'm going to use my triangles. They're very easy to use. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to line up your 1/4 inch, like so. Then you're going to put this right underneath it, the 1/4 inch. If you can get it up. What I like to do is I like to rest it up on there, and then we'll bring it out. There we go, there's our 1/4 inch. We're going to take it and just go straight up like this to bend it. Make sure you go like that, it gives you a nice crisp edge. Now we're going to do the same thing on this side. And I'm going to put this one underneath it. This one will go here. And we'll just line it up and bring it up with your triangle. Now, same thing goes for this. Okay, so we're going to take that, since it's already been cut. Just line it up. And we're going to bring it up just like that. Okay, you can do it with your hands. Okay, now we're going to have this one. Right there. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So we're going to do this one by hand because it is a little small. And we can bend it just like that. So, all right, so we have our bends in for our first cheek. Now we're going to do our second one. So again, we're going to take our triangles and just bring it up like that. This way it gives us a crease. We'll do the same thing on this side. If you want, you can just flatten down that with your triangle so we can get a good bend on this one. As long as we crease it, it will stay that way. So just like that. Okay. Bend it over like that. Since we already got that crease on that one, it's just easier to go like that. Now a 1/4 inch, because it is small, I'm just going to do it by hand. Make sure you stay on the line and you won't go wrong. Okay, there we go. Now we have 2 cheeks. Okay, so I'm just going to make sure this is folded in nicely. All right, so now we have our heel. So this is going to get bent in half. What's on the line, just bring it up, give it a nice little crease. You have to just bring it over. And there is our heel. Okay. Now I'm going to do the same thing for the throat. I am going to line it up, a triangle, and give it a crease. Once that crease is there, you can just do it by hand. And we have our throat. Now it's not 90 degrees, but we can just bend it some more. I don't like to overbend things. So now we're going to put it together. So we're going to use masking tape, which is a nice little thing to use. It works really well. So I'm going to start off with the cheek and the heel. Okay, so what I like to do is I like to put half of it on. Okay, so let me make sure that this is folded in. I don't want it sticking out. So we put it in like that, and all we have to do is bring this down. Okay, stick. There we go. When you haven't done it this way, it gets a little challenging. If you put the tape the right way, it'll be a lot easier. So I start off with just putting together the ends. So this one I'm just going to put on here. So I bring this up, make sure it's nice and flat, nice and snug to where it should be. That's like that, and just fold it over. So you will see sometimes there's a little gap there, so that's for the tape. We take it, put half of it on there. And hold it from the inside. And you can tape it like that. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing for that corner here. So I'm going to come down a little bit with my tape. Make sure I line everything up. And just bend it over. I mean, the thicker the construction paper, the better you'll be. The easier it will be to put together. But you can still do it this way. So now we're going to flip it over. And I'm going to do the same thing to this side. So I'm going to take a little piece of tape. Start on this side. Put my corner in. So once my corner is in, I just line everything up. And always take off the tape. Well, if you have another, now if you had a separate pair of hands, another pair of hands would be helpful. A friend or something, you'll be able to do this with ease. So I'm just going to put that one like that. Get my metal lined up. Oh shit, it looks like I made this one a little short. Push it down just a hair. There's that one. And there's that one. Okay, gonna do the same thing to this side. A little piece of tape here. And a little halfway here. So I'll make sure it's lined up. And just bend it over. As long as it sticks to it, you can press down afterwards a little harder. Make sure you hold it from the inside if you can. And there we go. We put on our heel. So now we're going to do our throat. Okay. So I'm going to put it in like this. One on that side. One on this side. Okay, so since we have our little 1/4" tabs, should fit right in there. From here on this side, make sure it's lined up. And let me tape it up. So that's that side. Now we're going to do the last side. Piece of tape here, and a little piece of tape here. Now this is bent, so you can actually put it right in the corner. Again, you want to be as accurate as possible, but take your time. If you rush, that's when we make mistakes. And we don't want to make mistakes because this is coming out really good. And there is our 90-degree 3x3 elbow. Square throat, square heel. Okay, so it's an easy project for anybody at home who wants to do it. Make sure the tape might come off. Make sure it's firmly. You can always put your hand in there. There you go. Don't worry about the gaps, that's just because of the tape. And there we go. A nice 3x3 90-degree elbow. Well, I hope you've learned something from this. Try it at home. This way we don't waste metal. You can make any fitting at home, basically. Squared arounds, straight duck, and now this is the elbow. My next one is going to be a radius elbow. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please hit the subscribe button to watch more videos. And that is the end. I hope you enjoyed.